What if everything you've been told about energy is wrong? Since the Industrial Revolution, we've paid for every drop of oil, lump of coal, and kilowatt of electricity as though scarcity were a law of nature. Yet hidden projects, from NASA's mechanical batteries to China's giant flywheel plants and startups like Taurus, suggest a different story. If you've ever wondered why energy bills keep rising while breakthroughs stay buried, this video will show you why. Stay tuned, because today we'll pull back the curtain on the technology they don't want you to know about and the revolution it could unleash. The illusion of energy scarcity. Since the Industrial Revolution, we've been taught one lesson above all others. Energy costs money. Oil from the ground, coal from the mines, gas pipelines, solar panels, wind farms. Every source comes with a price tag. We pay our bills each month as if it's the law of nature. And in news headlines, we hear the same warning on repeat. The world may soon run out of cheap energy. But what if that story isn't true? What if the scarcity we've accepted for centuries is an illusion? Picture a different future. A home powered not by fuel, not by wires stretching across the countryside, but by a small machine humming quietly in the corner. Steady, tireless, limitless. Imagine your car running without refueling, your lights glowing without bills, your devices charged by something you never even see. It sounds impossible, right? Yet scattered clues, from hidden labs, from space research, even from corporate startups, suggest the unthinkable might already be happening. Could the secret to free, abundant energy be closer than we realize? NASA's mechanical battery. Deep inside NASA's research centers, engineers have worked for decades on something they rarely advertise: the flywheel. At first glance, it seems simple. A heavy wheel spinning in a sealed chamber, but in practice, NASA called it a mechanical battery, and the results were remarkable. Unlike chemical batteries that degrade with every cycle, these flywheels endured tens of thousands of spins with almost no loss. In some cases, they lasted over 15 years. And they weren't just for power. The same spinning motion that stored energy also served another purpose: steering satellites. By controlling the direction of the flywheel's spin, NASA cut down spacecraft weight, complexity, and risk. It was elegant, efficient, and almost indestructible. But here's the twist. If this technology works flawlessly in orbit, why is it barely mentioned back on Earth? Why aren't we told more? Officially, NASA framed it as a reliability tool for space missions. Unofficially, some whisper it could do much more. Because if you can store energy in a nearly lossless system, what happens when you adapt it for everyday homes and cities? China's giant flywheels. In September 2024, headlines quietly noted something astonishing. China had just connected the world's largest flywheel energy storage plant to its national grid. The site, tucked away in Shaanxi province, holds 120 enormous magnetic levitation flywheels. Each one spins in a vacuum chamber, weighing tons, rotating at unimaginable speeds. Together, they generate a staggering 30 megawatts of power. Officially, the story was framed as grid balancing, smoothing out the ups and downs of wind and solar energy. Harmless enough, but experts immediately raised eyebrows. Why pour billions into flywheels if they're only meant to do what batteries already handle? Why scale to megawatts unless something more ambitious is at stake? Some suggest the Shaanxi plant is just the tip of the iceberg, a public project meant to mask a deeper agenda. Whispered theories claim that China's real interest is not mere storage, but testing systems that could one day deliver near-constant, independent power. If true, this isn't just an experiment. It's a rehearsal for the next energy revolution, one that might already be underway, hidden behind carefully chosen words. The Taurus mystery. Now, let's shift from governments to a small startup with an outsized claim. Its name is Taurus. On the surface, it looks like any other clean tech company. building equipment for microgrids and backup storage. But look closer, and the story gets strange. Taurus unveiled a device about the size of an air conditioner. They called it a mini power plant for homes. In glossy brochures, they promised customers silent operation, zero emissions, and non-stop power. Nothing unusual so far, but then the CEO, Nate Walkingshaw, began hinting at something bigger. In interviews and blogs, he described their invention as dead silent and never stops pumping out kilowatt hours. Those are not words battery companies normally use. In 2024, Time magazine even listed the Taurus flywheel among the year's best inventions. Most readers assumed it was just another clever storage trick. But behind closed doors, things didn't add up. Engineers at private demos claimed the units ran for weeks on end, supplying far more energy than their rated capacity. In one case, a Taurus box reportedly powered a home through an entire cloudy winter. Officially, it was dismissed as hype, yet in whispers, some called it proof. Proof of a machine that doesn't just store energy, it creates it. How the flywheel works. So what exactly is inside these mysterious boxes? Strip away the marketing, and the core idea is surprisingly simple. Picture a massive rotor, a disc or ring of dense metal, spinning at extraordinary speeds. Instead of resting on mechanical bearings, it floats on magnetic levitation, nearly frictionless. Around it, the engineers place the whole assembly inside a vacuum chamber so air can't slow it down. Once the wheel is spinning, almost nothing touches it. Almost nothing drags it. Now add a motor generator. Feed in electricity, and the motor accelerates the flywheel. Switch the flow, and the spinning mass drives the generator, sending electricity back out. The entire process is managed by precision electronics, a control system that regulates charge and discharge, making the flywheel behave like a perfect reservoir of power. On paper, it looks ordinary. Storage in, power out. But here's the strange part. In theory, with the right design, once the wheel is spinning, it could keep running with only tiny nudges, delivering power nearly indefinitely. Think of a bicycle you push once, and it circles the block forever. Mainstream science says you can't beat physics, but some inventors claim they've come dangerously close. The physics debate. Here's where the controversy begins. Physics tells us the rules are absolute. Energy cannot be created from nothing. The first and second laws of thermodynamics don't bend, no matter how advanced the machine. That's why mainstream engineers dismiss claims of over-unity devices, generators that give out more than they take in, as fantasy. Yet builders of advanced flywheels argue that the key isn't breaking the laws, but approaching perfection. With magnetic levitation, vacuum chambers, and precision controls, energy losses shrink to nearly zero. A push here, a spark there, and the wheel keeps spinning, delivering power for months with almost no additional input. Skeptics call it wishful thinking. Supporters insist it's proof of a hidden loophole. So which is it? A miracle breakthrough the establishment ignores, or a physics-defying myth dressed in technical jargon? The debate rages on, and the truth remains cloaked in shadows. Suppression and secrecy. If machines like this truly work, why haven't you heard more about them? Some say the answer is simple: power, not electrical, but political. Imagine what happens if every household could generate its own endless supply of energy. Oil companies collapse, utilities lose control, governments lose leverage. The balance of global power shatters overnight. That's why whispers of suppression linger, patents quietly buried, projects starved of funding, inventors silenced. Official reports speak only of storage or grid stabilization, never of free power. It's safer that way. The public remains calm. The old system stays intact. But ask yourself, would you even be told if someone had cracked the code? Would breakthroughs be headlines or secrets stamped classified? The truth may already exist, locked away in labs we'll never see, hidden because it threatens those who profit most from scarcity. The revolution they fear. Step back for a moment and imagine the consequences if this technology truly works. No more power plants spewing smoke into the sky, no fragile grids collapsing during storms, no endless dependence on oil pipelines or gas tankers. Every home becomes its own quiet power station. Families no longer dread the utility bill. Cars drive without refueling. Remote villages light up with the same power as sprawling megacities. Energy poverty, a problem that cripples half the world, disappears overnight. But such a future comes with disruption. Oil markets implode. Utilities lose their monopoly. Politicians, once propped up by control of resources, see their influence vanish. Wars fought over fuel suddenly lose meaning. For ordinary people, it's liberation. For the powerful, it's chaos. And perhaps that's the reason we've never been allowed to see it. Because when you strip away the mystery, this isn't just about a wheel spinning in a vacuum. It's about rewriting civilization itself. And that may be the one revolution too dangerous for those at the top. So we're left with a haunting possibility. The hum of a flywheel could be the whisper of tomorrow, already spinning in hidden labs. The only question is whether we'll ever hear it in our homes, or if free energy will remain the forbidden dream, buried in silence, waiting for the day someone dares to unleash it.